Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT news and big developments over the last 24 hours with PaperX deciding to officially announce a roster change, Benkai moving to the bench of their team, something their star player of the last few weeks possibly won't even be in Tokyo. That's a massive development, but also G2 surviving for now in the Challengers playoffs. Big results last night going down there. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Firstly, thought this is kind of crazy from Will Mind the top players in 1v1 win percentage going to Masters Tokyo. Boaster is number 1. He hasn't lost a single 1v1 this season. 11 out of 11. I mean, that's kind of incredible. So anyway, these are the top numbers, the top players in the world in those clutch situations. And Boaster apparently just straight up does it all. This is the other big thing I wanted to mention quickly from 100 Thieves. They have been in a tough spot lately. Ever since Sean Gares departed, they have been going downhill. And honestly, Sean Gares' stock as a coach seems to go up effectively every single time that they play nowadays, because I mean straight up, because he's now left and they do bad, he looks good as a result of him having left and them doing bad. So still, they've still got the last chance qualifier around the corner. They can still make it, but they actually mention here quite emphatically, says Stella, and I think Stella even mentioned on stream a couple of weeks ago now that there was someone they had lined up to be their assistant coach to Mike's HD and they couldn't make it happen. So who this was or why it fell through, we couldn't get an assistant coach for our split, unfortunately. Lack of that, I think, hurt us the most for the split. So, you know, hopefully we can get one before LCQ. So this is very interesting, right, from the 100 Thieves guys. The idea that they couldn't get an assistant coach that they wanted, and therefore they struggled as a result. They do admit that having less coaching power compared to what a lot of the other top teams have has held them back, which I think is probably a fair point. But, I mean, yeah, they both say that more ideas during practice and these other elements of having an additional coach involved would be very valuable for them, but they haven't been able to get one, which is like, you know, is that just what 100 Thieves playing at right? How can they not lock down an additional guy if they wanted? Apparently they had some targets that they wanted to sign and bring in as their assistant coach, but it just didn't happen. So, you know, I guess pretty unlucky from their perspective. Can they do that soon? Because let's be honest, right, they have one more event at the end of the year. They have the last chance qualifier after Masters Tokyo for the championship itself. So, you know, you'd think they'd bring someone in now, because they're both admitting, they're all admitting there effectively that that is what's held them back. And we know that Sentinels have made some changes. Of course, with Psycho being gone from Sentinels, he's potentially an option, right, for a team like 100 Thieves if they wanted to go down that route. I think it would be an interesting one. They might have other options they want to look for as well. We see, you know, Sentinels, well, Kaplan, of course, but he kind of looks like Shroud, getting ready to go. I'm not sure if they're joking around here with this writing on the whiteboard, but, I mean, figure out what kind of team we are, have some fun with it, get some confidence. F crew, I think that sentence is pretty funny. Grind and Will LCQ, map pool, IGL roles, scrim day structures. I'm guessing this is like an actual legitimate whiteboard presentation that he's giving the roster here, which is pretty entertaining. But with Sentinels, you never really know if they're only just joking around. Let's talk then PaperX and the situation going into Masters Tokyo. They are coming in not as the tournament favourites, that's of course going to be Fnatic, but from their region, they are the most favoured team, right? They took down DRX, they're starting in the playoffs themselves. They had a great run recently, especially reverse sweeping DRX in the Pacific playoffs to make it through. Ever since something came into the team, they've been looking better and better, and by 5v4 round win percentage, closing out rounds that they should win, they have the highest percentage in the world, actually quite significantly above Fnatic, even attacking Seoul. Edward Gaming are here, DRX Loud, but PaperX topping the lot with 84% of the rounds that they really should win, closing them out. But PaperX confirmed just a couple of hours ago now from Seoul, South Korea, in its continued effort to stabilize its Valorant roster, PaperX has made the difficult decision to move Benedict Benkai Tan from the starting roster to bench status. Benedict has been with the team throughout the VCT Pacific season and has contributed to the team's current success. However, with effect from June the 4th, 2023, Benedict will no longer be on the starting roster during the VCT Masters Tokyo and Champions Los Angeles. So confirming that he's gone now, and he's also gone going forward as well. This arguably is confirming what we knew for some time. Benkai, we know that PaperX and other teams, especially in the Pacific, like to play around with these 6 or even 7-man rosters, making changes depending on the map and stuff like that. It's been an issue in esports, not an issue, it's been, you know, an option in esports for some time. Very few teams have ever elected to do so. Teams generally feel like having a solid team of 5 with the solid team cohesion is the way to go. Substitutes are frankly less necessary in esports because you don't get physically tired. You can get physically tired if you play for like 12 hours, but you know, it's not the same issue that it is in regular sports where players physically are wearing out and therefore substitutes are necessary. Not really a thing. So probably a team of 5, and it has been seen, is generally the way to go. And I think PaperX are now realizing this, and therefore Benkai's involvement, despite his great walkouts and his very entertaining personality, is coming to an end. PaperX's initial idea was to have rotating roles and agent compositions for different maps, an exercise to experiment and promote creativity, but we decided that roster stability was more crucial to successful outcomes, a thought echoed by our coach in recent interviews. The team realized that other teams were improving faster with each passing week, and it was a challenge to rotate more than 6 players into practice, into training, and valuable practice time as a result. So their plan is that CGRS, who's their substitute, is now also going to be potentially filling in. This is arguably the biggest story, is that Something, their star player of the last few weeks, the player that really turned their season around, to be honest, Ilya Petrov, also known as Something, is possibly going to be out of the roster. This is obviously not what they want to do, but CGRS, their substitute player, could be coming in. This is because they have not yet fully processed his visa application. I guess as a Russian player, it's going to be more challenging as it has been the last year or so. PaperX say that they are determined to play with their complete roster, and they are working tirelessly to expedite his travel documents, speaking to the relevant authorities, Riot Games in Korea and Japan, to make this happen easier. But it's not guaranteed at all. So right now, Forsaken, Jing, Mindfreak, Dephh, and Something, that's their roster. But CGRS and Benkai, he's now the sub. Like, Benkai's not even the sub. He's benched, they reckon. So it's interesting that he's even fallen out of favor to that extent. But anyway, I don't think it's going to affect them too much if Something can play. But if he can't play, then it's a really big deal. So look, they had all these great results recently. I mean, look how good their results are since losing to TRX. All of these have been with Something in the roster. Of course, he had a phenomenal series as well in the match that they won up against DRX to win that final game bind to close out the Pacific victory. But yeah, now he is potentially not even going to be there. He even says, unfortunately, there's a chance I might miss the Masters Tokyo, but with PaperX, we're doing everything we can to get me to play. So we'll see. Hopefully it happens. We want to see him there. We want to see the team at full strength. What's going to happen to Benkai, just because, you know, he's actually tweeted out the sad face here as if he's frustrated that he's been officially removed from the starting roster now. And I guess this kind of implies that he doesn't want that to be the case. Whether he steps in as some sort of like assistant coach, that's an interesting option, right? But does Benkai actually want to play? And did he say to the team, hey, guys, I really want to play professional Valorant here. If you're not going to let me in, then let's come to something else. And they said, you know what, yeah, fair enough. Let's put you to the bench and you can go elsewhere soon. So difficult to say whether Benkai still really wants to play elsewhere, or whether for the end of this year he's going to say, you know what, I can be like an assistant coach. I'll help out with the team in some aspects, if they even want him to, because they clearly don't want him as their primary substitute, which is somewhat surprising, to be honest. Maybe for role reasons they feel like that is going to be viable. So yeah, definitely intrigued to your thoughts on this in the comment section below. The PaperX drama is going to continue, I'm sure, over the coming days. The other key talking point, though, we've got to get into is the situation with G2's Valorant roster and what is going on right now on that side of things, because they, you know, my predictions yesterday were terrible as usual. They just about survived. Couple of clips here to share.
Getting a little scary.
There goes the first contact, potentially from ShahZaM, but ShahZaM does take back the round now.
I think they threw though. Way too aggressive.
It's so reminiscent of the shot, or not, apologies.
Oh my god. Wait, what? Oh, he killed him with a shock? Oh my god, I just registered for me. Wait, what? First 3-map series of playoffs. Also G2 breaking their 7-loss streak. We broke records today. I think Shaz ended like 25-3. I want to say this is tough matchup, man. Tough matchup to play the guard here, but I think if G2 play like this, and they got a chance.
So Shopify Rebellion go down to G2. This is G2's first series victory since March. They haven't won a series in almost 3 months. Embarrassing as that is. Their last one they won was, I guess, at the MSI like Invitational, right? They lost everything in the split 2, and now they were almost losing everything going forwards. But they do take down SR. This SR team was strange, right, because they got a good result after Vanity joined, but shortly after that it hasn't worked out, and yeah, Vanity and Ye's stock after that Cloud9 situation have pretty drastically decreased, it must be said, over the last couple of months or so, to be honest. So they go down to G2. Good result for dapr and ShahZaM, as dapr's like, look, I forgot what it even felt like to win, and as ShahZaM says, GG's won 2-1, finally got the win we needed, got to play with some more confidence. But yeah, they have a long road ahead of them. They'll need to get all the way through to the losers finals to win, and if they want to have any chance, right, of making it through to the Ascension playoffs themselves. So yes, G2 2-1, great map from ShahZaM on game 3 on this Ascent, right, 26-6 to close out this 13-3. Split was 13-10, and then it was 13-7 the other way to SR with a good result for them game 1. The other series was FaZe TSM. I thought TSM might be marginal favourites here, but no. FaZe get the job done 2-1. Pearl was 13-10 TSM, but then the reverse sweep comes in. 15-13 on Split. Again, I mean, what is it with Split in these overtimes, right? But a 15-13 and then a 16-14. Tragic for TSM to lose in this manner. Just didn't have the ice and the clutch factor when they needed it, and their season is now done. How many of these players will we see next year on this org, or potentially even in challenges itself, is going to be difficult to say. Mame does get over the line here, Tig of course, and yeah, Poised and babybay with great series on their side of things. But as Dida says, former head coach of TSM VALORANT, with that result with them being gone, his contract is terminated, and I'm sure there will be many similar situations possibly to come with other players on that roster in a similar boat. So definitely tweet your thoughts in the comment section below. That's TSM out. That's of course Shopify Rebellion out, and G2 and co continue for now. So we have a couple of days off now until June the 7th, where we will get the lower round 2 between the Guard and G2. That's not easy for G2. I would expect G2 to go out at this point with a 75% likelihood. Can they beat the Guard? I think that they can. It's going to be far from easy, and if they do, they are then 2 series away from making it through all the way. They would have to beat, I mean, they're going to have to beat some good teams. They have to beat the Guard. They're going to have to beat one of M80 and Moist if they want to do so. FaZe then play Oxygen on the other side. I feel like Oxygen can maybe get the job done there. I'm not too impressed by FaZe, but I was impressed by the fact that they went to 2 overtimes and won. So we'll see how it goes over the coming days. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.